All right, developers. What we're going to do now is download basically we're going to download the code files that's going to provide for us the environment in which we're going to follow along in the videos. And so we've come to the code files now. This is going to look a little different by the time you get to it because it's going to have the video that I'm recording right now. But this zip file is going to be the zip file that contains everything. And what we want to do right now is just download this like you download any other file. Put it somewhere convenient for you because we need to get to this file later in a moment and unzip it. So you can just click on this file and your browser is going to open up the dialog window to say, hey, where do you want to put this file? I'm going to pick the desktop. So here's the desktop, and all I want to do is I want to create a new folder so that it's easy for me to find it later. And I'm just going to call it Target Foundation folder. Okay, you can name it whatever you want. I wanted to call it out really specific so you can see what I'm doing. Here's Sabio Foundations. I'm going to save it to that folder. And now, whichever way you choose to get back here, just get back here. Here I am now at the desktop inside of my Target Foundation folder, and I have the Sabio Foundations zip. Notice that when I click on it in the Windows environment, there's this little extract pink header that shows up there. That's because it's prompting me to extract it, right? But be careful in a Windows environment that if you double click this to try to get into it, it feels like and it looks like I'm actually working with the specific files. But you're not. Notice the little pink header there. You want to make sure that when you're looking at this, what you want to do is extract the contents of this file. All right. So in whatever operating system that you are working in, make sure you're extracting all the files. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extract that. And now to follow along, make sure you extract it to a folder that's called Sabio Foundations. Watch what happens now when I extract all the files. I'm left here with two entries in this folder, right? One of them is the compressed zip file, and one of them is the Sabio Foundations folder. I don't care about this particular zip file anymore, so I'm going to highlight it so that I can right-click and delete it, because it's going to confuse me a little bit in the coming moments here. So now I have this folder that's called Sabio Foundations. Good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my start menu. I'm going to type here to search. I'm going to look for VS Code. VS Code. Come on now. VS. Oh, because it wants me. There it is. VS Code. Visual Studio Code. You could type it out. Visual Studio Code. And it'll pop out. I'm going to open that up. And it's going to bring me to a little splash page, where it's going to prompt me. There's two ways that I want to open up a folder. Be careful with what you're about to do, okay? Because if you don't open the folder in the right way, things won't work. So what you want to do is you want to pick either open folder from here, and it'll open up another dialog box, or you're going to hit file, and you're going to say open folder, right? And it'll bring the dialog box. You want to make sure that you do this when there's nothing else open. How do I know there's nothing else open? Because if you click your file explorer, which for me is on the top right, you might have it over to the left. For me, it's on the top right. The very top icon there that looks like a bunch of files. If you click on it, you'll see that there's nothing open. Okay, there's no folders open. There's just basically that welcome document, and I just closed it. So from here, you can say open folder as well, right? So you're going to pick open folder from here. It brings you the dialog box, or you say file and open folder. All right. We go back to the desktop. And in the desktop, I'm looking for my Target Foundation and Target Foundation folder. And here now I see the Sabio Foundations folder. Notice that when I clicked on it, it filled in the area that says folder name right there. And that's all you need to do. So you just make sure you click on it and you click then select folder. As soon as you do that, boom, Visual Studio Code is going to do a little refresh. And what you're going to see now, here, let me bring this up to the right so you can see this a little bit better. I'm going to close this window. Now I'm looking at VS Code. Let's look at VS Code. You're going to see in the open editors, again, you get that little welcome document, but that doesn't really matter too much. I'm going to close it. What you want to see at the top, to the inside of the File Explorer, again, if you click on that little guy, you mouse over and it says Explorer, you click on him. What you want to see here is the name Sabio Foundations. And this is it, Sabio Foundations. And inside of Sabio Foundations, there's two little folders. One is called .vs Code and the other one is called Foundations. That's what you're shooting for. Okay? From here, you're also going to get prompted with a little dialog box that's going to show up and it says, hey, would you like to open these recommended extensions? If for some reason you canceled this before I got to say this, that's okay. Just close down VS Code. Let's go back and search for VS Code again. You're going to open up VS Code. And when the environment loads up again, it's going to prompt you. Okay, and so right now, let's see what happened here. I have not opened it yet, so I'm going to click Open Folder. I'm going to notice that this area here is blank. As soon as I click Sabio Foundations, good. Select the folder. Here it comes, and then it's going to prompt me. Hey, this workspace has some recommended extensions. Would you like to install them? You click yes, install those recommended extensions because they're actually not recommended. They're requirements. Okay? So now you've done that, and now you're ready to go to watch the next video. This is the area, this is the specific point that we need to start that next video with because we're going to show you what you need to do to get started there, all right? So if this doesn't say Sabio Foundations right here, you can't move on, okay? Can't move on. Make sure it says Sabio Foundations, and you're ready to get started.